All right, as you notice already, I always make a new table because a new sheet, and that's because I've corrupted data before. So that's the word I was looking for yesterday, corrupting data. My friend Steve Heimsfield calls it corrupting the data. So I have a separate worksheet now where I have this is the participant ID. I just kept it. The gender is one of the columns, lean mass and fat mass in pounds. And I just want to look now whether lean mass and fat mass on average are different between males and females. And so I am going to do what's called a pivot table. How do you do that? Well, you go to this insert and you see pivot table. So I'm going to click that and go from table range, and it automatically has this set up with my whole area. If I don't have anything here, let's see what it does. I guess I could just highlight everything that's here. I wonder if I can just do this by going to the very top row and then hitting Control Shift down. It does. So Control Shift down will give you everything. Highlight that first row and it gives you everything. All right, so we're ready to go. I want everything in a new sheet because otherwise it's going to be a hot mess. So let's put this into a new sheet. And you have this. And this pivot table fields opens up here. And what I want is I want two rows. I want averages by gender. So I'm going to take this gender over here and move it to rows. And so you should see now two rows here, 1 and 2. And I want total lean and total lean mass and total fat mass to be looked at separately here. So when I drag those down to values, you're going to see these two additional columns open up, sum of total lean mass and sum of fat mass. I don't want the sum. What I want is the average. So if I go down over here and just do sum of total lean and click this little arrow here, I can change the value of the field settings. And I'm going to change that to average. And now I see the average of the lean mass for males, the label 1 was for males, is higher than the one for females. It's not a surprise. That's why we have two blobs there. On average, men have more lean mass than women. If I go down to the next one and value the fat mass, so let's look at that. And we see fat mass, on average, women have higher fat mass than men. And that's just a function of fat mass. The scientific word is adipose tissue. That's just how women collect adipose tissue compared to men. So we have less muscle, and we have more fat. So that's something to think about, because one of the questions I always had is if I went to ranger school or I went somewhere and I had to gain lean mass, would I gain fat mass at the same time? That is a question I'm going to leave you with, because that's going to mean that to be that big enough to compete in ranger school, I would have to have more fat in my body, and I might actually not meet the body fat standards of the Army. So I'm going to save this here as pivot table.